Hello everyone, we have to discuss about that unit 4 lesson 1 every living words vocabulary glossary unit 4. A glossary is an the alphabetics and index of the useful terms, and in this the books and glossary and entire are the downs and from the various activities. Corroborated to the confirm or the aid and the proof to the supposed act and discretions and the protest. सबरे डाले नानी सोंग corroborate and to the confirm or the add proofs and to the suppose and facts and the discretions and prudences and care in the what and one says or the does. Dual to the reveals and or the make noun. Efficiency in the qualities. Or fact of the accomplishing the task and with the list and vast of the times and effort etc. Gratuity a tip and the money givings and in the returns. अब मत बिछा बाहर रुक जा मैं बिछा दूंगा भाई ये तो बैठ मैं करके मैं बीच में ही सो गई इसलिए gratuity is the tip and money giving in the return and for the some services implemented and the wrong or the stories and liabilities the condition of the beings and the obligated and by the law and to the pay and physics the forms or the save of other person bodies and the recipiented either person or the things that the receive and something. रिडंडेंट यानी क्या होता है अननेसेसरी मोर देन द इनफ एंड स्टेटस क्या होता है रैंक और द स्टैंडिंग्स एंड स्टेट्स और कंडीशन एंड द टेंजिबल्स का क्या होता है रियल एंड सॉलिड अवर्स टू बी द टोस्ट एंड और द फील्ड एंड ट्रांजेक्शन क्या होता है टास्क और द पीस एंड ऑफ द बिजनेस एंड कैरीड आउट और द कंप्लीटेड. Veteran यानी होता है someone and who has the served and in the armed and forces veto to the veto to prevent or the forward something and to that. Virulent यानी deadly very harmful or the poisonous. Waive to give up the right and claim or the privileges of some kinds. Reading food label lesson 2 and unit 4. Most of use and as the condiments and everyday and thus are the seasonings and dressing and or the realizings and we use to the make and foods and taste and batters. Some familiars condiments and are the peppers and the mustard and ketchup and the mayonnaise and other the source and study the product and labels and below to the learn and more about the ingredient and the nutritional and value of the three condiments. Ketchup and the nutriented fake ingredient and tomato and the concentrated and made from the red and ripe and tomato and the distilled and the vinegars and the high fructose and the corn syrups and salt the onions powder and spices natural flavoring. Mayonnaise and the nutrition fact and ingredient soya beans oils and whole and the eggs and egg the yolk and the distilled and the vinegars water salt sugar and the species lemon juice and the calcium and the sodiums. added to the protect flavor and qualities and the commitment, and if not 100% satisfied, return and the unicide and the product to the your store for other prompt and cheerful refund. And the task. Most young and the pupils and look forward to the moving and out on theirs the avancer. But independence and living the carries and new the responsibilities as well as the new freedoms. And who will do the simples and building the projected and the fixed things and that bricks. Every youth. Every young adult, male and female alike, the should be the prepared and to deal with the simple household and task. You will need more than the bed and the few and the groceries, and to be the self-sufficient you are the going to the rescues and some basing the tools and for the routine repairs and the leaky and the few sheet loose and door knob for the everyday and projected the hanging and the picture and putting up the salvage. Following is other list of the essentials and tools and that the everyone and should once and learn how to use. Hammer. Basically, and the hammers is other necessary for the most projected and from the hangings pictures to the taking and down the loose carpet. Adjustable and the brace and this the basic and tools is the indispensables and for the many the projected from the fixing leaks and to the adjusting either toilet and seat because it's the work and for any the size nut the standard and the Philippines and had the driver and are the necessary and more for the most assemblies work as well as the for the tightenings and lose the drill the handheld and drills and is the perfected for the dealings and holes in wood or metals and most and the drills and come with the screwdrivers bits and so and old the fission and the fashions and hex is either great and for the cutting through and pipes and the plastics and when you need and more the powers either circular so is your the best opinion options. Pillars. Reach for the pillars and to get other frames and grasp on other nut and the bolt or the piece of the pipe or the wood. Needle nose and the pliers and are the best for the grippings and small items or the fittings in the tight spot. Tape measures few the project and can be the accompanied and without precise measurement either 10 foot. Tape measures and is the fine and for the most and the basis projected. Unit 4 and Lesson 4 Communities and Against the Graffiti. Some young pupils and make other sports of the defacing and structures and like the buildings, street sign and well and the fancied, and thus the graffitis and artists and the usually work and together as other taking. And they go on the bombings and runs and with the express and purpose of puttings, and there the take names on the both public and private properties. Many communities are the demandings and the harshers and the penalties and for those and who the commits and the graffiti and vandalism and the juveniles and the offenders and are the now and the required into the completes more the community service hours and then the evers and enforcement and teams are now and wings the made and up of the police on officers and the community and volunteers and they are the multiplying there's the efforts and aid the surveillances and investigations and apprehensions. One large city in the Californias and has the come and up with other programs and called the take and you lose. And this the program and the mandates and the following new and penalties and for the teachers and who have been and the could in the past fact in the act. A minimum of the 66 weekends and hours and moving the graffiti are the second offense and will the ensures and 132 hours of graffiti and clean up. First time offenders and theirs the parents are the required and to attend a the class taught and by other police officers like all the vandals and the tagers and will be the hold and responsible for the restitutions and to the prosperities and owners and greyfield graffiti and the vandals and can laws. There's the drivers and the licenses for 1 years, and if they don't and it have either licenses and their the eligibility and to get the one will and without the delays and for the 1 years enforcement and team the members are the hopeful and that the toggers and penalties and will the deter and the triggers and from the taking the risk. Unit 4 Lesson 5 How to the paint the room. The following structures and appears on other one and the gallons and can of paint. Can of paint it is the important and to the flow the directions in orders and prepare the surface. Clean to the remove and dirt and the dust and sand. Sliding and to the room the to brush off the off loose of loose paint and the dull any the shine on the surfaces and fill the cracks and the holes and with the specklings and passed to the smooth and uneven areas when dry and sand and the covers and repels with other primers and mix the paint thoroughly and stir but do not the thin. Paint the ceiling first and begins and by the brushings a the 3 inch and the borders and around the edges and then the fill other lints and free the rollers with paint. A full and the rollers and should the cover either 2 feet and by 2 feet area in the one and coats. Roll a B overs and either 2 feet squares and section. Then roll across the B and to the fill in the section. Roll from the dry areas and into the wet and use the V techniques and to the finishing the painting the ceiling. Paint the walls. Brush other 3 inch borders and around the top bottoms and the sides and of the one wall and then use your the rollers and the B techniques and to the finish and the job and go on to the others wall. 5 paint and the trims and the woodwork and the last and use either 2 inch brush. If necessary, apply other second coat and the allow the paints and to dry and the 4 hours and between the coat. Clean up bath your the hands and the tools and with the warmth. Soapy water use either nylons and the scrub brush to remove and paint from the bruise and the bristles. Use other scrub and the sponge and to the thoroughly clean the paint tray and the brush handles. Wait to decorate and do not the place the object on the window seals and or the salvage and for the 30 days until sun paint is the carbide. Unit 4 and the lesson 6 driving the cues. Here is the quick and the quiz and to test your the safe driving knowledge. If the light changes and the while you are in other crosswalk and what should you do? If you can't and avoid the getting caught. In other crosswalk and stay put and if you the back and the car up and you might hit either pedestrians and crossing the behind and you if you go forward and you may the obstruct traffic and the queues and accident. Question who has and the right of the way and when the two cars approach and the interactions and at the same time. No one has the rights and of the way and according to the row and the drivers. On the left hand should the yield and but the low and doesn't the give the right of the way and to the anyone. When you reach and the interactions and it is the best and to the prepared and to yield regardless of the your positions. Courtesy and the cushions and may prevent it and the collision. What is the most and the dangerous time of the weekend to drive the Saturday and more than the 18% of the all the fatals and accidents occurs on this the first day and of the weekends and most of the serious accident occurs during the two blocks and of the time and between the 8 p.m. and midnight on the Friday and between the midnight and 4 p.m. on Saturdays and if you must drive and let it night and be sure to the beers and use the sheet and belt and the stay alert. Question: which contribute and more to the accident and alcohols or the speedings? In other recent review of the traffics and the penalties and alcohol contributed to the 38.6% of all the accidents. Speeding was the second and most the prevalence factors and about and 3 in every the 10 Americans will be the involved in and the alcohol and related crash it the sometimes in their the lives. When you are taking other trip and how many the miles and should you the plan and to the drive in other single day under the opinion driving condition and plan to the drive about 350 and the millions and the following factors and must always be the taken and into the accounts and bad weathers and expected and road the condition and driver accidents and don't allow either driving trips and to become other murderers. Lesson 7 Voculary. Lesson 7 Voculary. Get out your the dictionary and these is the challenging words. Review. End of the book test. Word list. Word list. Abbreviation and the evidence and the academic and accessories and the acmes and the accurated and the acute and the adamant and the adjustables and the adverbs and affects and agencies and against and the aggressor. Allergy and the alleviated alters alternatives analysis anxiety application apprehensions and acoustics and artificial assemblies and strays authorizations and average and awareness. Bailout and the bandwagons and behavior benefits and barrate and bereavement and be wondering and bigot and bilingals and biscuits bolt Bristol budget caffeine casual and comparison carbohydrates selling certificates chemos chemicals chron and chronologically and the coherent collisions, commercially, commitment, community, composed compressions, concise conclusion, condimented and the consequences and the conversation, consistency and the consortiums and the consumers and containmented and the corroborate and councils copper and the crevice and crosswalk and crucials and trusty and kelby cultivated and the curriculums and cylinders. They winked and the deceitful and decorum and defensings and defectated and delegated and deployed and debtors and deterrented and detour digestive discards and decline and discounts. Discretion and disprove and the diverges and document efficiency. Injection in eligibility, eligibles and eliminated, emergency, cated imbalance in approach, enforce, induced, engines, enrich, insurance, insures, intangible, enthrones, entries, interest, in essentials, estimates and estificute, exposures, expense, exteriors, facade, factors, familiars and fatalistics and physials, fibers, filters, forms and flatters, footproof, forerunner, formulas, foster, for fraud, frequent, fronters, forced, frestos, fur tips, gamut, gesture, graffiti, gran, grasp, gratuity, gross, gullibles and guesting, habitualis, hackese, hampers, harbingers, hardships, hanner, hinder, hold, hospice, identify, impact, impassables and impactations, impose, implement, impeccable, impletious and impose, emplacements, independent, indigent and indispensables and inferences, influences, ingredient and injuries and innate and insecticides and insulates and insurance intakes and interactions and interstate and inundate and eventually then investment and irritabilities. Jatisans, junction and justifications and juvenile, catch up and K need, lackluster and liabilities and lease and liabilities and labels and limitations and lucratics. Majority, melodies and malleables and mandates and menus and maritals, mass, massive, maximum and mega dose and mega vitamins and mentals and mentor on merchandise and moderate and mollify and monitors and mortgage and multitudinous and my road. Nadir, necessary and negligible and net and the non-toxin and the nostalgias and nurseries, natures and nutritionals, objectives, obligations and abstractions, occupants and offense and optimistics and optimums, organics, overwhelmings and paraphrase and particularly and passage and pastry and peculiarities and pedestrians, penalties and permutes and pesticides and physics physics and the pliables and the pillars. Policy policy precautions and precautions and precious and premiums prescribes and prevented preventives premium productions profligate and profusions prohibited promotions prompts properties prudences physiologist punitives and nuances realistics and reasonings and recalls and decisions and reclines and recommended and redented and refutes and regardless and rambads and relevance and repeal. Repetitive and requisites and responsibility restitutions and restriction resume revokes and right of way roberts and roster roughages and routine salvages schemes schedules and scragely seasoning self-acceptances and self-control and self-the-respect and self-sufficient sensitive severage and shortenings and sieges and solicites and solicitors solution solvent and the sophisticated and the speaklings and pest and the sporadics sports and the stemples and the status and strategics and timings and associations and suicides and supplemented and support surveillances suspenders and the sustainables and swindle and symptoms and syndrome and tagores and the tailgatings and the tangibles techniques and the temporary and the tenacious and terminally textures and the therapies and thrive and the timorous and torsos on toxins and the traces trendy transaction and trances and triggers triggers and the turpentines and the tutor typicals and the users and underwriting and uprisings and utilities utilities ben bailey vandalism and the valid and vapid the vehicles and the veterans and veto and BA and benegars and the virulents invisibilities and the volunteers and Boracious and Babbage and waterways backs and the water various boat and woodwork and worthwhile and worthy the bridge and wrongdoing yield. The session may be closed.